with the world? It's your boy CBJ. You are tuned into the champs. This is my co-host over here,
Coach Rudy.
We are back. I know Kyle had us on hiatus, taking off with the equipment, hiding out again.
Yeah, you know what, though? Kyle's a bitch.
I think that's why he keeps taking this equipment, because every time we get on here, we call him a bitch, then we're not back. This last time was just the longest time that it's been, but still.
I mean, I'm cool with Kyle. I like Kyle. I mean, I co-signed Kyle being here.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Kyle, you a bitch.
All right, guys. Well, as you know, we've been gone for a little bit, but we're still paying attention to what was going on, so we got some things we are going to talk about.
All right, let's get in with it. Take those shots, man. Go in with Paul and his nonsense.
Oh, man. Yeah, so for those of you that don't know, Jake Paul had a fight just last week, and he fought Anderson Silva, former UFC champion, and he just talked a whole lot of nonsense, and I'm just going to play this for you.
4 massive pay-per-views in 13 months. I've knocked out every single person that I fought. Talk to him, baby. Every single person that I fought. Hey, and Masvidal and Nate Diaz, y'all are some bitches for leaving this arena. Because I know you don't want that shit. I'll take out both of y'all next. Just get out of your contract with Daddy Dana, and I'm gonna fuck them up too. Let's go!
Who do you want next, Jake, and when do you want to fight again?
Anyone, anytime, any place. Anyone, anytime, any place.
It's every day, bro, right?
It's every fucking day, bro.
Congratulations, Jake Paul, on his massive victory. Morrow, back to you.
Hold on. Did he say anyone,
Yeah.
anytime?
Yeah.
You think if I email him, he'll take me on?
Nah.
Because I am someone.
Well, I didn't get the part
I
where
got time any given Tuesday or Thursday.
I would. Yeah, that'd
He
be
said
awesome.
any place.
Yeah, he did.
Shit, he got
Do
all
it.
the money. He's an asshole with all the money. Have him
You
fly
know-
his happy ass down here.
Catch these hands.
Oh, man.
Let them know they're rated for everybody.
Look, what is it? I'll give him boxing lessons, fighting lessons, but most of all, falling down lessons.
Yeah, well, I just played that mostly because I didn't catch the part because I didn't do my research beforehand. But he did say that he wanted to fight Canelo and for him to quit running, along with when he was talking about Nate Diaz. And we don't like to spend a whole lot of time about this fool because he's exactly that. He's a fool. Him and his brother. We still speculate that he is putting in his contracts that he cannot
Hold
lose.
on. I got you one better, Paul Brothers. I'll take both of you bitches on at the same time.
At the same time?
You know I'm a street fighter.
Are you willing to put this on YouTube?
Yes. I got no qualms with beating two.
Now,
Look,
now you got to keep in mind they're gonna pick the fighting. Like, you're gonna do it in a boxing match.
no, he said any place, anytime, and something else. But yeah, let's fight. I ain't say let's box. I said let's fight.
All right. Well,
I'll fight him.
if a fight, I got you.
I'll fight them both.
But I think in this way he's talking about it in a boxing match.
Oh, well, yeah, no. I mean, I'm saying let's fight. he think he's so good. Let's fight. I got 5 minutes to kill. I don't even need a train. I'll take them both on any given time. Come at the same time. Let's go.
All right, guys, you heard it. Coach Rudy is calling out both the Paul brothers, saying that he will take them on.
Just to try to make it fair.
Yeah, there you go. Both of them add up to over your age, so.
Yeah. Look, let's rewind the clock, fellas. Back in the day, growing up here in East Dallas, you didn't get a fair one-on-one fight. People jumped in all the time.
Yeah.
You had to. It makes me more comfortable to fight two people at once than it does to fight one-on-one because back in my mind, I'm like, who's jumping in and where they coming from?
Right.
If I know I got two at once, cool.
Right.
I know where it's coming from.
Right.
I got no qualms taking these two boys on at the same time.
Right.
Remember, though, this is fighting. This is street fighting.
Right.
I ain't talking about putting on the gloves.
Right.
If they want to have gloves on, that's their prerogative.
This is true. But yeah. So I just wanted to bring this up. If he got his wish to fight an actual boxer, we were trying to go through off the air possible people. And honestly, I don't know who's a professional fighter that he could fight that's currently fighting, because I think a current fighter would get him. And the few retired ones, I think he would. He might be able to entice the fight. I don't think they're in his weight class, so he might get them to fight. But I don't know if it'd be a fair fight as far as for power. I have no doubt these fighters could still beat him if we're going like real boxing rules, like points
if
and
you
whatnot.
put their weight together, they might add up to me.
Nope, they'd be heavier than you.
A little bit.
But yeah, so I didn't really want to say anything. I just really want to say that I really hope that he continues to antagonize Canelo, because Canelo just might fuck around and find out with you if you keep coming at him.
I mean, he could just do this as an in-between fight, in between his real fights, and not even have to take any additional time.
Yeah. I mean, he could very much take this opportunity for a sparring match that we get a chance to see.
Yeah.
Like, I'm training for this fight, we're sparring, and I'll show you.
I mean, shit, make it official. Just say, you know what, I'll donate half of my winnings to
Right.
the I kicked your ass fund.
The thing about fighting these guys, and this is honestly the honest to God truth, these guys are so big on YouTube and the internet that's why they're allowed to make these spectacles, and that's why they're able to get some of these retired fighters, because they're getting paid more than they would.
Then they may have gotten paid their whole careers.
Yeah.
These are big paydays for them.
Yeah.
And I can't blame them.
Yeah.
Past their prime guys
Yeah.
in different athletic competitions than what they're used to.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't watch this fight because I don't support them. But I heard that Silva did raise his foot a few times, where it was like almost like muscle memory almost might have kicked in for him to throw a kick.
I could see that.
So nonetheless, if Canelo ever does take him up on his offer to fight him, I'll be there to watch it on, I'll pay for you can take my $90 or whatever the fuck.
Any place, any time.
Yeah.
Whatever, punks. I got you.
All right, moving on.
All right, so there's a lot of stuff that we could address. Obviously, the Astros winning the World Series.
Wait, what?
It's a sport. They call it baseball.
Huh.
And I know we don't really talk about it much. But, so the Astros won the World Series. And look, just like we don't talk about it much, that's all we're saying.
Well played,
before
sir.
we get into the NFL, though, let's touch on a little bit of NBA.
Okay.
And not necessarily the sport itself as much as a big topic that's been circling the media stages over the last couple weeks. Kyrie Irving,
Yeah.
the Nets basketball player who has been the topic of many discussions with whether he's going to play, not play, his own comments and idiocies of what he says, flat earth, whatever. Put all that stuff aside. He got himself into some hot water, if you didn't know, by tweeting out a link to a movie who had some, or a documentary or movie that had some anti-Semitic, I guess,
Rhetoric.
verbiage, ideas, whatever have you. And after doing so, what kind of made it blow up was when he was asked about it and asked if he felt bad or wanted to address it. He said, "No, I didn't make the documentary. All I did was put it out there."
Yeah.
He said, "Yeah, I didn't mean to offend anybody, but I'm not the one that needs to say that because I didn't put anything out there other than this documentary. I shared it. That's all I did."
Okay.
Well, after that happened, prominent people in the NBA, including the commissioner of the NBA and the owner of the Nets organization, they pretty much yelled at him. They scolded him. They suspended him.
Yeah.
In order for him to get off this minimum 5-game suspension, they
Gave like 6 things that he had to do in order to. He had to apologize and
donate money and do all these kinds of hoops or whatever. And I personally don't like that.
Yeah.
That they did those things. I don't mind them suspending him. I don't, because it eats into their bottom line. And anytime you work someplace,
Yeah.
you pretty much sign the contract saying that I'm a representative of you, whether I'm on the clock or off the clock.
Right.
So if I make you look bad, it's within your rights to punish me. Like, that's generally what your contract says whenever you're agreeing to work for somebody.
Yeah.
And so for him, he falls into that same idea.
Yeah. I have it pulled up. He has to issue apology, complete anti-hate classes, and donate $500,000. Complete sensitivity training, complete anti-Semitic, anti-hate training designed by the Nets, meet a representative from Anti-Defamation League, as well as the Jewish community leaders in Brooklyn. And after completing 1 through 5 with the owner, Joe, I don't know how to say his last name, official demonstrates the lessons, and then he'll be able to come back soon.
Yeah, so here's the thing, though. They already met with the ADL,
Yeah.
and he sent a representative.
Okay.
So he didn't even go to that.
Okay.
So he put out a statement, but he wasn't on camera saying it. He didn't allow anybody to ask him any questions.
Yeah.
So it very much could have been a team put that out there and just put his name behind it, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know when he's going to get off suspension, because he's not necessarily adhering to what they've asked of him. What are your thoughts on it?
So similarly, not that long ago, he didn't want to get his shot, and he was kind of an asshole in that situation where he refused to get the shot, so he was essentially going to be out half the season because of it. And the dangerous part to that situation is what set him up for this situation, where I think this is where he's getting his stance on it from. Is last time people didn't agree with me on what I did, but then I had people that praised me for standing on what I believe in. And to that, I don't think this is going to work in his favor. I honestly think that he's, let's see, where he is right now, he's, I think what he should have done is he should have just complied, just apologized. Even if I would have necessarily went on this, like, well, I didn't make it, I just kind of shared this. Even if that was your stance, and I could understand how you would feel a way about, like, well, I didn't do it, I just seen this and I thought people should see it too. I don't know, like, I don't see anything wrong with what the NBA is doing. That's my stance on it.
So let's put it like this though. As far as I'm concerned, people need to be smarter. And whether we're talking about him, whether we're talking about Ye, whether we're talking about anybody, you got to understand, whenever you say something, anything, it can be taken a million different ways.
Facts.
So be smart about how you say it and what you say. If you don't want to back off of your stance, this is a very easy statement to make. I am sorry that people felt hurt by what I put out there.
Yeah.
My intentions were not to hurt them.
Right.
My intentions were just to put out a link to a video that I found to be interesting.
Yeah.
Now, the fact that people got offended by it, the fact that people misconstrued that for me agreeing with everything that was in the film, I'm sorry that happened. None of that says that I'm backing off of what I feel. All of it says, I'm sorry you feel the way you feel.
So the question, did you see the tweet?
Yeah.
What was the tweet's context? Like, was it just the link?
Pretty much what that tweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm just curious because if it's just a link, maybe I was sharing it because I find it ridiculous. But if he says something
he said something with it,
okay.
But either way, with it.
But yes,
once you get it addressed to you, all you gotta do is be smart enough to cover your ass.
One thing, if y'all do not know about Coach Rudy and I, is we are a firm believer in say what you mean and plausible deniability.
Both of those are very true.
And that being said, is be careful on choosing your words, which oftentimes, if you ever pay attention to how I talk, I will take a moment to just kind of figure out how to say it so I don't screw myself over, so that nothing can be twisted on me. But also at the same time, we also are like, well, if you don't have evidence that proves that I did what you think that I did, even if whatever the case is, you have to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. We go by courtroom rules. But that being said, you're not wrong, and yeah, there's a way you could have worded your response to it, and he could have. I mean, truth be told, there's so much stuff going on.
Look,
the speech that's going on right now between entertainers, just in general.
People have the right to feel what they want.
Facts.
Kyrie can feel however he wants. And I don't have a problem. Look, Kyrie donates so much money to all these different organizations, and he does so much philanthropy work.
Yeah.
That it's amazing. I'm so happy that he does that. He does a lot of shit on the court that pisses me off.
Yeah.
He's an excellent basketball player.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want him on my team in the idea that I don't know if he's going to show up. I don't know if he's going to fake an injury.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with him mentally. So I have friends who I wouldn't want to work with.
Yeah.
Like, you're my friend. I wouldn't want to work with you. And I'm sure a lot of my friends feel the same way about me. And that's okay.
Yeah.
That said, once you've shot yourself in the foot, you got to clean up that blood. You got to figure out how to do it.
Right.
And if you want to be stubborn, well, understand, that's fine. Be stubborn. Understand, though, there's going to be consequences. Nike dropped you or postponed the unveiling of your new shoe.
Right.
Your team suspended you. Understand, that type of stuff's going to happen. So, but cool. Stick to your guns and say, I'm going to be stubborn. I really don't care.
I do want to point out that Nike is doing a false representation, because they already had announced earlier in the year that they were discontinuing their contract with him. They just re-announced it again when this came back out.
Look, and what we have to put out there is, just like most organizations, Nike is far from being saints.
Right.
They're still working in China, and China is still doing their thing where they're killing a whole race of people.
Yeah.
And put aside the child labor laws and them having lead paint and
Right.
put all that stuff aside.
Hey, you know what? At least they put the nets up outside of Apple, so that way when they try to commit suicide, they just get caught by a nice net instead of them falling to their death.
Yeah, because it prevents other people who are walking from getting killed. Good point. But
that's fucked up. That's a real thing, guys. Look it up.
But so it's not like I'm sitting here pretending like Nike, Saints, or these companies that drop them that they're all in the right.
Yeah,
because it's not. But I'm just saying, either way it goes, when you say something, be prepared for the consequence. And if you don't like what those consequences are, then don't say it.
Yeah, another thing about us is that we do believe in. I stand on what I say. I have no problem defending my POV on something if I am a believer of it. I will say, and because so many people don't take the accountability for what they do, this isn't something I will give a whole lot of. Like, I will give him in the sense that he did it whenever he took the shot or didn't want to take the shot. He stood on his morals for it, and I commend him. Like, he didn't want to take it. It was his decision. He knew he wasn't going to get the games. He was going to lose money. Cool. That's how you feel. By all means, you're accepting whatever consequences with that. This is a bit more ignorant than that in different ways. And again, you want to stand on he's not even standing on it because he's still kind of apologizing if he's not insinuating through it.
And that's the other side of it.
Yeah.
Because if he really was taking his hard-nosed stance, he would have done the same thing that he did with the vaccination thing.
Yeah. So, which is one of the reasons why, like, I give a whole lot of praise to Kaepernick whenever he took his knee. I know a lot of people get so mad about that, but like when you think about it, how many of you guys or anybody you know willing to lose their money,
their career
on a stance of something, not for themselves? He wasn't protesting because he's getting harassed or anything like that. Not to say he never did, but it was for the greater good of other people. Yeah,
people that he's never met.
Yeah, they're probably most of them he'll never meet. And that to me is like, even me, like I believe that I'm a good person, but I don't know that even me would take that stance of like, in that same situation, I don't know that I would take that same stance. After everyone made it a big deal, I would, just because they've pushed me into the corner.
Damn it.
Yeah.
This drew a lot more attention than I was hoping.
Right. But
I was doing this for me.
Yeah. It was supposed to be something I was going to do over here in this quarter. Now everyone turned it into this big-ass deal. And, my brother was pointed out because I was telling him, we were having this conversation on Halloween. And because I forget somebody was doing some sort of protest and he was bringing it up and he thought it was dumb. Like, can you believe that they're making this big deal about this? Like, he's just, trying to do this little protest. I can't remember what it was. But I was like, well, that's the same thing Kaepernick did. And it kind of, because he's one of those people that didn't like that Kaepernick was taking a knee. He's like, bullshit, whatever. I said, literally, there was a military guy that told him, take a knee instead of just sitting there with a towel on your head because it's more disrespectful to do it that way. And he didn't have a good argument for it because that's the thing that most people don't realize. Like, he was taking a knee out of respect for the people that have served in that situation. And he was told by, it was a Navy SEAL, right? Like, it was someone in the Navy or something?
Somebody in the military, yeah.
Yeah. That was getting, that's what I'm telling you. It says by somebody that was actually getting an award at the game because, at the NFL games, they often bring somebody out that's like, oh, you're getting the whatever award from this team or that team. Every game, every fucking sporting event, somebody picks a random person to give them acknowledgement for their time served. But yeah, that guy, I believe it was a Navy SEAL, told him taking a knee was more patriotic than just sitting there. And it got blown up into this whole thing, lost his whole livelihood. Well, I don't know if it was livelihood, but he put it on the line. I will say that.
He lost his career.
Yeah. And even now, do you see anybody kneel anymore?
No. So I was listening to Martellus Bennett being interviewed, and he made a comment saying that at some point he told his brother, he's like, you know what, I don't think that kneeling that I'm going to keep doing it. I don't think that I need to anymore. And he said it served its purpose early on. It brought the attention that it needed to.
Right.
But I don't think that it does anything anymore.
It didn't fix anything other than piss people off.
Well, no, it brought a lot of attention. I think it did fix a lot. I think the fact that you have police officers now getting arrested when they do this stuff, and not just getting arrested, but actually being convicted.
Yeah.
That stuff wasn't happening before this.
Right.
Because it brought attention to it.
Right.
And people say, oh, well, no, it wasn't just that. It was George Floyd. No, because George Floyd's happened all the time.
Facts.
The fact that there was some light on this and had been some light, and then you had that's what made it escalate.
Right. Yeah.
So I think that it did make a big difference. Whether people want to acknowledge it or not, it's another story.
Right.
All right. So let's get
Sorry,
away
we got a little derailed.
Even though I have no problem talking about it. Let's get into the NFL a little bit.
Some people won, some people lost. All right, guys, we'll see you next week.
So, okay, speaking of which, right now, the AFC, let's start with them.
Okay.
We had hit the last time we were on air the topic that we believe that the AFC East is the strongest division in football right now.
I've heard people on the radio say that this last week.
Yeah, they were listening to us. They don't want to give us credit. So, Buffalo sits at 6-2.
Yep.
Jets at 6-3, who just beat Buffalo.
Yep.
Miami at 6-3, who also beat Buffalo.
Yeah.
And New England at 5-4.
Okay.
Coming into the season, you and I were talking about this AFC East, saying it was going to be tough.
Yeah.
We talked about everybody but the Jets.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about New England being real.
Yep.
And right now, what are they doing?
They're turning up.
Yeah. They're getting their stuff together. They got a really good defense.
Yep.
And their offense is doing well enough. They have two viable quarterbacks. I know some people think that means they have none. But no, they just haven't decided. Both of them are young.
It's a similar situation to whenever you have two running backs, except for at this point, they're still figuring out who's the better one.
Yeah, who they're going to keep. And you know what? They're fine. I think Jones is who they should keep.
Yeah.
I think maybe their other quarterback can be trade bait now. You know, get a draft pick, whatever.
Get yourself, especially, wherever you're lacking, trade them off to wherever. Get yourself in a better position later on.
So Miami sitting at 6-3, Jets at 6-3, Buffalo at 6-2. The scary thing is for Buffalo though, their quarterback has an injured elbow.
Yeah.
So if he has to miss some time, and I honestly, if I'm Buffalo, I actually do sit him.
I 100% agree.
I wouldn't play him with that.
You can afford to sit him for
and
a couple
then
of games.
Really get him injured.
Yeah, you could afford to sit him a couple of games. But you know what's kind of weird about that? Like a hurt elbow or hurt whatever. Sometimes when you give yourself some time, it takes longer to heal than it would have been if you would have played through it.
Well, and
it's not necessarily that it takes longer to heal. It just like your body feels it more because you're allowing it to heal, and then you get a little bit nervous about trying to do anything again for a little bit.
Well, I think it was his second year where he had injured it.
Yeah,
and they said it was the same type of injury, and it was he missed 4 games at that point. But he also wasn't playing well at that point. So with that said, maybe they were like,
I was going to say,
your happy ass down.
I have no problem. Like if that's the case, sit him for 2 weeks, come in at 3 weeks.
That's what I would do.
Yeah,
I'd sit him for the next 2 weeks and say, hey, let's see what happens.
Yeah,
maybe we still win, maybe we don't, but at least give your elbow less likely.
It won't take us out of our run. We'll be able to get back at it, right?
We'll still be in the playoffs.
Yep.
Even if we're not number 1 seed anymore.
Right.
So that's as far as they go.
Right.
And then you look at the AFC North. You got Baltimore sitting at 6-3. Okay. Cincy's finally starting to get their stuff together. They're at 5-4.
Yeah.
Cleveland, Pittsburgh, they're sucking.
Cincy, what makes them scary is
They got hellacious players, but Chase is hurt now.
that's what makes them scary. Like, you don't realize how much Chase does for them until you see the game without him, and you see how bad they were playing. And you would think Mixon's a solid running back.
You realize Mixon had 5 touchdowns last week?
No.
He had 4 rushing touchdowns and a receiving touchdown.
Okay.
I can tell you this because he was on the fantasy team of my opponent.
Yeah.
Freaking put up 75 points for him.
Yeah.
I was like, how the did he put up 75 points?
Yeah.
I looked at his stats. I was like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
All right. So, look, Joe Mixon is a good running back. You and I are high on him.
Yeah.
He had a couple bad games earlier this year. But we both like Cincy.
Yeah.
We both think they're a real team.
Yeah, we called for the out of the 2 teams that went last year. That was the team that we were saying that was going to go, even though you thought the Rams were going to do better.
Well, we'll get into the
we'll get there.
NFC in a second.
Yeah.
But when you look at it right now, you got Buffalo, KC, Baltimore, Tennessee as your division leaders.
That's crazy. And Tennessee's been playing really well the last few years, so it's not even like that's a new team to be like.
Yeah. No, I mean, they had the best record in the whole AFC last year.
Yeah.
But they're sitting at 5-3, and they're getting their stuff together, right?
Yeah.
Then you got the Jets, Miami, and Chargers filling out the rest of the playoffs if the season were to end today.
Right.
So that leaves New England on the outside looking in, Cincy on the outside looking in, Indy on the outside looking in.
I think Indy's done though.
Okay, so what do you think about that Jeff Saturday hire? You know, they fired their head coach, and then they inserted Jeff Saturday. You heard about it, right?
No.
Dude, so it happened yesterday.
Okay.
So they fired their head coach,
Okay.
and then Jeff Saturday is an O-lineman who now works who worked at ESPN doing, commentary or whatever.
Yeah.
He seems like a smart fellow or whatever.
Yeah.
But he played for a long time in Indy.
Okay.
Okay. So he got the position. Now, Reggie Wayne, remember the wide receiver for Indy?
Yeah.
He's on the coaching staff there. He didn't get the job. They got 2 other coaches that were longtime head coaches in the NFL.
Yeah.
But then they said, you know what? Let me get Jeff Saturday.
Yeah.
And then the owner had a meeting or what is it? A media session yesterday, and they said, he said, damn straight. I went and got him. I like that he has no coaching experience. Like, he's not going to be all tied up into the BS that the other coaches are tied into. He's like, he's not going to be worried about the analytics. He's just going to go out there and coach.
Okay.
So, yeah. Like, look, I'm going to tell you what I thought while you think about this. I thought, like a lot of others, I was like, this is that bullshit of why everyone says there aren't enough black coaches. Like, the owner feels comfortable with the white boy that used to be someone that he talked to.
Yep.
And he gives him the job without even thinking about it.
Right.
And that's that bullshit.
Yeah.
At the same time, Jeff Saturday always has seemed like a smart fellow to me when I hear his analysis.
Yeah.
Which is different than what I feel about a lot of the other talking heads out there.
Yeah.
Because his stuff, to me, football-wise, it always made sense. And, they generally say the old linemen are the smartest ones on the team.
Yeah.
So, the fact that he was an old lineman, he does come off very favorably on TV.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with someone who takes over a football team who hasn't coached at a certain level before. I really don't. Because I think sometimes it's overrated because people are like, well, everyone else is saying that this guy is good. I guess I have to give it to him.
Yeah.
When in reality, there's a lot of people that lead that don't know how to freaking lead.
Yeah.
So if the man played football for 14 years.
Yeah.
Then he knows football. And then also, here's the other thing. If you're just trying to make them suck, that way they can get the top draft pick,
Yeah.
well, then you got that too. So either way,
Yeah.
if you think, hey, I need someone to change the culture, obviously shit was sucking over here.
Yeah.
So let me bring someone way out of left field, but someone that I trust, then I get that. Because if you just promote people that were already there who were part of the bad culture, then what the hell? You know?
Yeah.
So I get it both ways, you know? That don't sound right.
All right. So my take on this is
Don't you use that against me, Paul Brothers.
I like I just realized what you said. Damn it, man. Anyways, what I'll say about this, you said a lot of what I was thinking. As far as for like, you know, this is exactly why they don't have any black coaches in the enough when you're looking at it. The other thing to this is, first thing I thought, honestly, was so the Indy wants to now be the Cowboys. Like, you just want a puppet that you can tell what to do. Because that's what I'm thinking. Like, what better way to get control over your coach by having somebody that's never coached before and be like, you know what? I gave you this position. You will listen to exactly what I want to do.
Yeah.
That's legitimately like what I was thinking more so. But then as you were speaking, like, it makes sense about as far as for these other, you know, why haven't we gotten another coach that could, you know, why not promote another coach within that's already there, already familiar with the team, knows what you're trying to get accomplished, or, you know. So there's a lot of questions that you could go and ask about that, you know, decision. But yeah, my big thing is thinking, does he want to control the coach by being able to have a guy that's never been in this position before?
Yeah, I think, part of it too is if he sucks, you can fire him without thinking twice.
Yeah, that's true.
And if he wins, you say, hey, well, I needed someone to change the culture because it wasn't working the way we had it.
Which is kind of unfortunate, though. I kind of liked their former coach.
Yeah, I mean, he was good
I
for a
thought he
long
was-
time, and he made stuff work. But here's the thing. I don't know.
I don't know that he had time to get we've talked about this before. A lot of these coaches get fired before they get a chance to really get
He'd
what
been
they're
with
trying.
them for like 5 years.
Really? I thought.
But think about it. How many quarterbacks has he had? He had Goff last year?
No,
or not
Wentz.
Goff. Wentz.
Wentz.
He had Wentz.
Yeah.
Now he has an over-the-hill
Ryan.
Ryan. Before that, he had an over-the-hill quarterback from Indy. From San Diego.
Rivers.
Phillip Rivers. So he had 3 over-the-hill quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And way back when he started, it was when Luck quit on him.
Yeah.
So it's not like he had the best options at quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much say-so he had in bringing them in. Because if he decided to bring those in, it's kind of your fault.
Well, his thing with, and this is why I was surprised when they got rid of him, was, and maybe it was because maybe he was overruled, but he wanted Wentz. He even whenever he brought Wentz over, there was they did the Hard Knocks with them, and he was talking to Wentz like they apparently had some sort of connection before.
Yeah.
And he was saying like, I wanted you, but Philly got you before I got to you, but now look, you're over here, whatever. So that being said, maybe his thing was that he really believed in Wentz, even though Wentz didn't necessarily do anything for him last year. Maybe he was trying to change it around them, but maybe he got overruled because it didn't do enough of what they wanted for him.
That's very possible.
Especially because considering by that time he's on his 3rd, 4th year. So when you bring in somebody that's everyone has already kind of given up on, and you're saying like, no, I wanted him, I believe in him, and then he still comes over and pretty much repeats what he's been doing.
Yeah. I mean, made it competitive, but they ultimately didn't make it. So
I was just wanted to talk about Jonathan Taylor.
yeah,
I'm really surprised about how last year he was so high.
think about it though. The first half of last year,
Yeah.
it was only one running back that was high.
Yeah.
There was only one.
Yeah.
And when King Henry got hurt,
Yeah.
then there was a little shuffle for a minute, and then Jonathan Taylor finished strong as hell.
Right.
Jonathan Taylor was doing just okay.
Yeah.
So this is what people forget with the running back position.
Yeah.
You can be a good running back
Yeah.
and fall off the face of the earth, right?
Yeah.
And that happens all the time.
Yeah,
We've
we talked
seen
about
it
that.
with countless running backs.
Yeah.
And people will say, okay, this Richardson guy, he's really damn good.
Yeah.
And then the next year, what the hell happened to Richardson?
Yeah.
And then it just happens that way. Whether you've been playing for 12 years or 2 years,
Yeah.
that type of stuff
Some people
happens.
just hit their wall fast. Yeah.
Now, Jonathan Taylor, with the way he ran last year, I don't think that he's done. I think the injury just shot him in the foot.
Yeah.
The offense just isn't gelling with him
Yeah.
right now. And I think once they get it straight, you remember DeMarco Murray, Cowboys
Yeah.
running back?
Yeah.
Ran for like 1,600 yards with Dallas, and then went to Philly.
Yeah.
Didn't do shit there
Right.
because they didn't know how to use him, right?
Yeah.
Then he goes to Tennessee and damn near wins another rushing title over there.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. With running backs, you got to use them right.
Right.
I mean, with all players, but with
Right.
running backs, it can look like they're done because they're not being used right, and
That's right.
people fall off of their bandwagon because
That's
of
right.
it.
When we remember that whenever we see Elliott on Kansas City next year.
You are 100% correct. When I was did you watch Kansas City this weekend?
I seen a little bit of it.
Okay, their running back couldn't do shit.
Yeah.
He couldn't. And you know what I thought?
Yeah.
Like, this is why Zeke's coming here next year.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, I know a lot of people think that they have, I can't say that guy's last name, but he declares he's good, and I mean he's not bad, but they also had Hunt before. They also had
no, Hunt was the real deal.
no, but I'm saying like they've moved on from players. But
I was gonna say Clyde Edwards-Helaire, whatever.
Yeah.
He is one of those running back by committee running backs.
Yeah.
In my opinion,
Yeah.
he is not someone who.
Yeah, I would put him behind an Elliott. Like I would put him
I
like
could pair him with pretty much anybody. You know,
Yeah.
if I got decent running back
Yeah.
core, I don't mind having him. He can
Yeah.
do some nice things, but he's not a lead running back.
No. He's definitely like I think Minnesota has two decent running backs. That he's in one of those.
Cook is great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Green Bay has something like that.
Aaron
With
Jones and
the other guy.
Yeah.
The other guy's decent too.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire,
Yeah.
he's a good other running back to have.
Yeah.
He's not my lead dog.
No.
The Cowboys give up on Zeke. If the Cowboys give up on Zeke,
Yeah.
look for him in Kansas City based on this last game, based on logic.
Because I mean, there's other teams that would be glad to take him. I hope he would just, if he has any say so in it, he would go there.
So if you're stupid and you don't follow me on Twitter, well, first off, if you don't follow me on Twitter, you may just be stupid. But, I mean, obviously not if you don't have Twitter, because then it's just, hey, why would you follow me if you don't have it?
Right.
But in general, if you're a sports fan and you don't follow me on Twitter, you very well may be stupid. And if you are one of those people that is stupid, you did not see my tweet. My tweet that of something that we had talked about before.
Right.
Zeke Elliott
Oh, yeah.
has more rushing yards. Not just rushing yards, total yards, all-purpose yards, than anybody else drafted in 2016 or later.
Okay.
And the top 10 players,
Yeah.
actually top 11 players, all-purpose yards,
Uh-huh.
he ranks 6th, and none of those guys were drafted in 2016, 2015, or 2014.
Okay.
All of those guys were drafted 2013 or before. Correction. Devontae Adams. He's 10th. He was drafted in 2014.
Okay.
But still. Correction again. Mike Evans, too. They're after him, though.
Right.
So, 2014. That's the closest that anyone was drafted to Zeke's 2016.
Yeah.
And those guys are behind him.
Right.
And when you look at Zeke, he's got 10,105 total purpose, all-purpose yards.
Yeah.
That's more than Tyreek Hill. That's more than Kelsey.
Yeah.
That's more than Randall Woods or Robert Woods, Randall Cobb, Landry, Diggs, Brandon Cooks, Keenan Allen,
Yeah.
Derrick Henry, Melvin Gordon. And if I didn't mention them, he's got more than them too.
Right.
The only ones that have more active players, Adrian Peterson, Julio Jones, DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green, and Mark Ingram.
Yeah.
He will surpass Mark Ingram and AJ Green this year. He will surpass DeAndre Hopkins next year.
Okay.
Adrian Peterson will finally probably retire next year. And Julio Jones should retire as well. So after next year, Ezekiel Elliott will have the most all-purpose yards from any active player.
Right. I want to say
He will be a Kansas City Chief if the Cowboys are dumb enough to cut him.
if they're dumb enough to put him up there, and if Kansas City has any, can pull the trigger to do it. I don't doubt that they have the ability to. I just don't know that anyone else wouldn't go above and beyond for him.
People don't like paying the running backs. And when people don't want to, and when people aren't talking about you,
Yeah.
then these owners are stupid. These owners.
I mean, you say that, but we just watched Christian McCaffrey just get fucking cashed out for.
He's white.
This is true. Touche.
These owners don't. If there's not hype around you,
Yeah.
they're not going to pay you
This is true. Okay.
unless you're white.
Before I forget, because you were talking about Zeke, I seen a so-called diehard Cowboys fan on a network tell everybody how he's a diehard fan, but Zeke just isn't Zeke of past. He's just not that good anymore. He was like, did you see how Pollard just went off? He was so lightning in a bottle. We should not be still playing him as the number one after this last display. And I was watching this, and I was like, I knew this was coming. I knew it was coming. We had the conversation on the phone that it was coming. But he goes on and on about it doesn't work. When you put Zeke in, he runs for the ball, or he runs the ball, he gets a yard, he gets 2 yards, he gets 3 yards. He gets the ball, runs a yard, does it. All he does this 15, 16 times, only getting 3 yards a carry. And when he said that, I was like, 3 yards a carry for 15 carries is good yardage. That's still getting you first downs with those 3 yards. If you do 4 at a time, you're still getting a first
12
down.
yards. But He's wrong about that because he's averaging 4.1 yards a carry.
And that's what I was thinking as he said this, because when he went on to say when he was watching,
We've broken it down.
Yeah.
And Pollard has more 1 yard carries.
Yeah.
And more negative carries, more 1 yard carries than Zeke does.
Yeah. So
game by game, we literally freaking broke that down a couple weeks back.
Yes, exactly. We've gotten to the point like the games where he's gotten more carries and had less yardage.
Yeah, he ran. Pollard ran 8 times for 6 yards.
Yes.
8 times for 6 yards.
Yes.
And then another game, he ran 6 times for 8 yards.
Exactly.
And in one of those games,
yes,
he had a 9-yard run. And yet ended up with those yardage.
Exactly.
I think in both games. I think the other game he had an 8-yard run.
But
still ended up with those yards.
And I will tell people, if you listen to me, don't get it wrong. Pollard looks more exciting because occasionally he will get that 20-yard run. And the thing is, and I'm not taking away that 20-yard run is not something amazing when you need those fucking yards. What I will say is, even with that being said, we've broken it down. Elliott is still getting more yards. He's still producing more than
Elliott
he is.
Isn't killing your drive.
Right.
When you have Pollard in there, Pollard is going to kill more drives than he's going to keep alive.
The other thing I want to point out is I forget what video clip I seen, but they were talking about how they script to stop Elliott. That was, I forget what team it was that did it, but I was like, finally, somebody pointed out exactly what me and you say all the time. We're worried about Elliott. We're not worried about Pollard. We can get Pollard, but Elliott has to be stopped. And I want to say it was, I don't want to say the wrong team, but there was a team that they were talking about. I was watching the game, and they were saying we script to stop Elliott because they were proud of themselves for that point. They had been stopping him. They didn't stop him the whole game, but they were stopping him, slowing him down enough at the moment. But the point is, it only proved my point that these teams know Elliott is the threat that you want to stop.
There was a quote that was attributed to Pollard during this last game where Zeke didn't
I forgot.
play.
Even that was even more thing. Go ahead, say it.
After Pollard's big 56-yard or 54-yard touchdown run, however long it was, he came out the game and he was quoted as telling the coaches, it was like, hey, I'm done. I don't have anything left in me.
Yeah.
And so that was after 15 carries.
Yeah.
14 carries, something like that. 14, 15 carries. 15 touches. And he said he was done. Here's the thing. He probably is right.
Yeah.
He can't. I've had plenty of players like that. I remember I had a player who, if I sent him up the gut the first 2 times, he could do something.
Yeah.
Whether he stopped or not, he can hit the hole hard. He can go.
Right.
3rd, 4th time, he was getting stuffed because he just did not have it in him to continuously go up the gut.
Yeah.
I had to send him to the outside for him to do anything.
Right.
He was an outside runner.
Right.
Hitting up the gut ain't going to work for him. Now, Zeke, he can take that punishment.
Yeah.
Zeke can go inside or outside. And he's going to be able to stay good for the game.
Right.
Now, Pollard can't handle more than 15 touches.
Yeah.
You can't have him be your lead dog. If you want to say give him more touches, I say that's fine, but be prepared for more drives to be stopped.
Yes.
Because he is an all or nothing guy, and we've said this many times.
So, I will say, on that same network, I believe it was Shannon that was the one that pointed out that he was like, he's good for 10 to 15 runs, and then he's going to tap out. He's like, you can't give him 20 touches. He's just not going to be able to handle it. And I was sitting there thinking, and I think I think he was the one that brought it up, that he had said that he was done after that 15 carries. And it was Skip that was trying to hit it
Skip's
on there.
an idiot, and there's a lot of idiots like him.
Yeah. Well, that's my thing. If people would listen to us and not Skip, because that's what happens. Like Skip says it, and people are like, "Yeah, that's true." You could see it. He's really balling. He's really doing something amazing.
All right, I told you that there've been times where I've gone to mini Cowboy games, right?
Yeah.
All right, and I told you I believe Cowboy fans are stupid.
Yep.
And it's because when we're on offense, they're fucking yelling their heads off so our offense can't hear.
Concentrate, yeah.
And we're on defense, they ain't fucking paying attention.
Yeah.
Now, every now and then you'll see, hey, the fans are actually doing what they're supposed to.
Yeah.
But 9 times out of 10, it ain't.
Yeah, because I've heard New Orleans, apparently, like their stadium's really hard because like they know how to cheer whenever it's time to.
And look, if you were gonna cheer the whole time, cool. I can dig that.
Yeah.
But if you're not, then fucking know when to cheer.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's our fan base.
Yeah.
Most of them don't fucking know.
Yeah.
And if you were to tell them, no, shut the fuck up right now,
Yeah.
they would look at you like, but why? I want good things to happen. Well, then shut the fuck up.
Right.
I don't get it. It's because they don't know.
Yeah.
They want the home run.
Yep.
If people watched baseball and they realize...
What's baseball again?
It's the sport with the bat and the ball.
Gotcha.
If they realized that if your home run hitter either hits home runs or strikes out,
Yeah.
he's not as valuable as what those home runs make it look.
Right.
You have to get some hits, too.
Yeah.
Tony Pollard is an all-or-nothing guy.
Yeah.
And if he's not getting you anything, that kills your drives.
Yep.
You don't want to start off with 2nd and 10
Yeah.
because Pollard got you 0.
Right.
You want to start off with 2nd and 6
Yep.
because he got you 4.
Yep.
But all he got you was 4. Fuck that, I got 4.
Exactly.
But Pollard might have got you a touchdown. Yeah, or more likely than not, he got me nothing.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's how it works. But we got stupid fans. All right, so besides that,
Yeah. Moving on.
right now you got Philly at 8-0, Dallas at 6-2, Giants at 6-2, Washington at 4-5.
Yeah.
Washington almost stole a game. Could have easily been 5-4. Either way, we said Washington was going to be decent.
Yeah.
And they're showing that they are.
Yep.
And that's what Heineke is their quarterback right now because Wentz got hurt or whatever.
Yeah.
Now you got Minnesota 7-1.
Yeah.
The big one is Green Bay 3-6.
Yeah.
And you know what? So remember a few years back when I told you that the reason that Aaron Rodgers wasn't performing well was because his arm strength had diminished a little bit, but he wasn't doing basic fundamental things to get the ball where otherwise your quarterback would get him.
Yeah.
Then he corrected those things and got back to basics or whatever, and he started hitting his marks again.
Yeah.
Somebody was questioning if that was what was happening now. And honestly, I don't see that. I think the more likely thing is either he is saying, fuck it, I'm just throwing the ball where it's supposed to be and my receivers aren't there and I want everyone to see it.
Yeah.
He's a petty guy. I can easily see that.
I'm not arguing with that. Go ahead.
So it can either be that or him and his receivers are just so off sync.
Yeah.
That it's just not working.
So I've heard his former receiver misses him a lot right now.
Yeah.
And that he misses him a lot. So it is kind of
because
strange.
they're 2-6.
Yeah. That they're both that no one's ever heard of a quarterback and receiver missing each other as much as apparently they do, which is one thing. But I still maintain, I don't think I've had a chance to say it on the podcast, that I think Aaron is just playing well enough to keep his backup from playing. Like, I think he's being petty enough to, like, look, when we're in practice, he probably balls out great to keep his position, but not so good that he's actually winning these games. Like, it's one of those things like, look, I'm going to get paid, and I'm going to keep this new guy because you guys drafted him, and I didn't want him. I wasn't ready to go. So now you guys are going to have to deal with the fact that I am just going to get us close enough. I'm not going to pull the trigger, because the thing that everybody loves about Aaron, or that they did love about him, we haven't seen it very much in the last few years, is that Hail Mary. You don't see him going for those anymore. You don't see him.
Yeah, there was a season where he had like 3 and 4 games and shit.
Yeah.
And he made them.
Yeah.
And then I think that season he had like 5 that year. You know?
Yeah. Like, that's what people have. That's why they called him the bad man, because he was doing things like that. He was crushing people's hopes and dreams with those, oh, there's only 45 seconds left in the game. There's no way this is over. And he comes in, throws the Hail Mary, game over. You just had your whole season just ripped away from you. And we're not seeing that very much these days. And I think that it's because he's petty. I believe that some of it has to do with the fact that maybe he is on too much of a trip and just like off into La La Land too. I don't know what it is, but I think at the root of it, it comes down to him, whether it's being petty or intentional or unintentionally, that he just doesn't have it anymore. But I think he's the root cause of whatever's there.
I think he still has it. I don't know how much he wants it.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. Well, look, people, we've been at this for about an hour already, and I know there's more NFL to cover. Yeah. So let's go ahead and wrap up now. We'll try to hit on these things within this week to give you a little bit more content. Yeah. But if we don't, we'll catch you up next week. Remember, it's 17 games for these teams. So whether we talk week 9, week 10, week 8, it really don't matter.
All right, guys. Well, if you want, please follow Coach Rudy on Twitter at
RudyV1982.
You can follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram at CBJSLEEP_E_J. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell a friend. Until next time.
And tell those Paul brothers I'm here for them.
Until next time. Take it easy.
Peace.